All right, welcome back. It's still Breakfast Daily, and we're going to have a conversation right now on a National Children's Day celebration. All right, we've been joined in the studio by Daniel Kofi, who is the Principal Programs Officer with the Department of Children under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and also Eugenia Anuku-Dabson. She's a Programs Officer with the Department of Children under the same Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Now, why is this day an important day for us to celebrate, National Day of Children?
Okay. So, in the history of Ghana, we've always celebrated our children, and we recognize that children are the future. And since 1993, we've been celebrating this day to recognize children of Ghana, to put across the conversation that they're important in our society, and also to boost their morale, because sometimes children are left behind when the conversation is going on.
Yeah.
So to raise issues that have to do with children, because we also recognize that they are one of the most vulnerable in society. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, and so this year, is there a special theme for this year's celebration?
Yes, the theme for this year's celebration is building bridges, fostering child rights through traditional and the religious leadership.
Okay.
So the focus is, we've realized that when you are addressing issues of children, there's always a tussle between religious, traditional, and then legal issues. So it was very important that a convergence is built such that we all come to the agreement that this is the way we want to go in terms of addressing children's issues. So with this year, we are looking at engaging religious leaders, traditional leaders, people in the communities that are regularly interacting with the children, so that through the ministry, we can collaborate and then come to a consensus. Of course, the legal or the national laws supersede any traditional belief or norm or law that they've set in the traditional setting. However, it is not to say that it's going to be pushed on them. It is to collaborate, to see if there's a lack of understanding, then we work out the understanding for the protection of their children and make sure they are enjoying their rights.
Okay. Now, we're talking about children. First of all, in a Ghanaian context, who's a child? What is a child?
Okay. According to the laws, a child is someone who is 18 and below. We can also look at, in the society, a child is someone who lives with their parents and depends on them for their survival. And we can also look at children in the sense that we are children, but we are not children in the law. So we have to make that differentiation. And also we want to look at children, child protection. That is our main focus. So when we say children, we are looking at child protection and their protection from certain things that can harm them, because they are not able to advocate for themselves.
As you're speaking earlier, Daniel, you mentioned about child rights. Talk to us a little bit about that and the importance of the rights of children.
Okay, so the UN Convention on the Right of the Child basically spells out all the rights of the children. And when we talk about the right of the child, it's something that was given to the child naturally. It's not something that just law gives to them, but law enforces it so that people recognize them, and then and so we have the child's right to education, right to shelter, right to nutritious food, and so on and so forth. Now, these rights are supposed to be made available for these children, and those that they themselves can make available for themselves, we need to allow them to enjoy these rights. For example, they have a right to express themselves. In our traditional settings, it's a bit more complicated when we want children to express themselves, because we misconstrue assertiveness sometimes to mean disrespect. So there is a need for the level of education we want to go ahead and give within the communities, that we should discern the difference between assertiveness. We all want children who are assertive, who can communicate their feelings, express what they think, and then we can guide them if there's a need for them to go the right way. So in that sense, when we talk about right, what belongs to the child already by birth, and not anything that we are giving them.
Yeah. Okay.
And to add to what Daniel is saying, sometimes in our society we would think that child rights is a way for children to misbehave, but that is not it. We also, when we go out, we speak to children, they have their rights, they have their responsibilities. Now, harping on the child rights part, there are rights that parents already give to their children. You feed your child, you take them to school, you provide clothing for them, you provide shelter for them. But the laws are making it now legal. It's a legal backing that we are giving to it. It's something you already do for your children. When you give birth, you name your child, you register them. Those are all rights that they are supposed to enjoy. So we are just reminding people of those rights, that there are things you are already supposed to do for your children, but we have to have a backing so that you follow them, because some parents obviously do not.
Yeah. Now, so for this year, do you have an event, a program, a way to that to push all of these great ideas that you have?
Yeah, we are looking at, so the program itself was started on August 31st, which is the substantive date. But we are running a long program. So from 31st August, the community started doing their programs at different levels. And we are continuing. At the national level, on Thursday, we'll have the national program at the Shippers building, where we'll engage, there will be panel discussion and other activities to deliberate on these issues, come up with even more innovative ways to ensure that the children are enjoying their rights. Beyond that, on Friday, we also have a community sensitization program in the Crow Municipal Assembly. And we are bringing all the religious and traditional leaders together so that we have a discussion on this matter and chart a way forward. Apart from that, we'll do some training on how to deal with some of the challenges of child protection and ensuring children's rights. So that's there will be other activities beyond that.
Okay, fantastic. So this Thursday, you're having a main program.
Yes.
Okay. What time?
9:30
9:30, the Shippers Council
Authority,
building, Shippers Authority building. Okay, super. Now, I know that a lot of people have challenges with, they say, these days people say children's rights, but it doesn't. We are not allowed to discipline our children and so on. So there's this tussle between the traditional way that children were disciplined in the past vis-a-vis the modern methods, you know, in terms of best practice and so on and so forth. Just make a quick comment on that.
Okay. In terms of, basically we are talking about child abuse or corporal punishment, if we want to narrow it down. And in terms of child abuse, is illegal, and corporal punishment is also not legal. So under the laws of this state, this country, it's not allowed. The reason being that over the years, studies have shown that if you punish a child, most often within a short period, they repeat what you were punishing them against. And even those who may not continue to do that is not necessarily because of a reformation of their thoughts and their understanding of the circumstances, but most often as a result of fear of the pain that they will gain. But in doing that, we build other psychological and emotional challenges that go over a long period of the person's life. So the alternative is to look at other ways. And in our work, we never go anywhere and just teach rights.
Okay.
We sensitize people on rights and responsibilities so that the children are aware that beyond having a right, it goes with some responsibility. If your parents are producing the resources for you to get educated, you must also make sure that you commit your energy, time, and your resources to learning to come out with the best results. So what needs to be done from where we have reached as a nation is for parents to learn to listen to children, to have a kind of friendliness with their children, to understand them better. And then when you do that, it's easier for you to correct errors without the use of any form of physical abuse.
And we also have a child protection toolkit. That's when we move into the communities. We
Is that the ministry?
Yes, we educate them on it. One of them is the positive parenting.
Okay.
So we are teaching parents how to always move in a positive light. So sometimes your child you'll be so angry, but you don't use anger to
at all.
Yes, so you have to find positive ways of interacting with your child so that all the outcomes are positive. That is what. So parents out there, don't move in anger, but be positive with your children. There are many ways that if you research, you'll be able to find to deal with problems. And we also want to recognize that what your child is doing is not peculiar to them. All children misbehave at one point or another, and they all have issues coming up. It is your responsibility to also learn who your child is, how to train them well, and so that they come out as good citizens of Ghana.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for coming through. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we've been speaking with Daniel Kofi. He is the Principal Programs Officer at the Department of Children in the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, as well as Eugenia Anuku Dabson. She is also Programs Officer with the Department of Children right there at the same ministry. Let's take a look at entertainment highlights and we'll be back with more conversations.